Perfect. Hey guys, glad you're here. I'm just playing some Magic Seeds I saved my laptop for in this flashback. Hey, clearance sale, what you got? Magic Seeds. Just Magic Beans? Just Magic Seeds. Well, okay, how much do they cost? How much you got? I don't have any money, I just have this laptop. That's exactly how much it costs. Enjoy your Magic Seeds. Well, it must be my lucky day. Sucker. Connor Artiste, you've done it again. Sucker. Benjamin P. Rodriguez, you've done it again. Anyway, I'm having a really good time gardening. I'm having such a good time, in fact, that I'm going to revisit Stardew Valley. The only problem is, since I traded my laptop, I'll have to play on the Switch port. Nah, there shouldn't be any problems. Stardew Valley is the story of a civil war going on in a brand new world you've been thrown into. On one side is the Imperial Legion, whose influence is spread far and wide, hope to take over this land too. On the other side is the Stormcloaks, natives of this land who are fighting back. And you play as the only one who can settle this conflict, an unstoppable monster who slays all in their path. In their tongue, Dovahkiin, Dragonborn! Wait. Oh, sorry. This is a script for my abandoned Skyrim video. I don't actually need this. Stunningly applicable, though. Before you can start Stardew Valley, you have to customize your character, and they have an insane amount of choices. But before I get to that, I have to name my character. And since there's no canon name, I have to use mine and my pseudonym for my farm. And while I'm stricken my ego, I'll go ahead and make BlueCat's favorite thing. Fun fact, literally none of this ever factors in the game. The farm is never mentioned, BlueCat's only mentioned as a side effect of a fruit. I mean, sure, your name is used by the villagers, but you could have put anything in there and they would address you as so. Past that, I'm a male, and I prefer cats to dogs. Now this customization is ridiculous. I can have any eye color I want as long as you can figure out the Switch's awful controls for this game. Honestly, couldn't care about that, so I got as close around as I could, then moved on. Same for my hair color. Speaking of hair, I hate how every option looks on the male model. I forgot why I chose to play this game as a girl my first time, but it all came back to me on this screen. After that broke me, I didn't really care about the rest of it, so I threw a blue shirt on him and moved on. The game opens with your grandfather dying on what appears to be a cot. Apparently we couldn't spring to have Grandpa die in a nicer bed. He uses his telekinesis to give his last gift to you, and tells you to wait until the modern world breaks you to open it. XX amount of years later shows your avatar working in Jode's office, and they show a skeleton ahead of you that's not moving. You may think that's funny, but later in the game, skeletons are monsters that fight you, so really the skeleton is slacking off and will probably be fired. With your spirit broken and your soul crushed, you're finally allowed to open your letter, and surprise! Your grandpa left you his farm that's been unattended for years and probably in deep disrepair. After a short ride and a meeting with the sadly unattainable local carpenter Robin, it turns out I was right. You then get to meet Mayor Lewis, who has broken into your home, so make sure you check for any missing valuables that your grandpa didn't give away before croaking. He tells you he'll buy anything you drop in the box. Anything. And dropping stuff in there is the only way to get cash, or selling it to local vendors, but the box is easier. The game lets you start, and turns out Lewis was actually doing some reverse burglary and left you some seeds to help you start your farm. He really is a sweetheart. It's a shame he's probably on the verge of dying. Now the farming itself is rather banal. After you plant the seeds, you just water them daily and watch them slowly grow. But that's fine, because it allows you the option to meet the other residents. Or if you're like me, clean up the debris because you hate clutter. Then you realize how quickly your energy drains and abandon that fruitless effort since it never stops coming back anyway. So you can head into town by following the path on the right, and I'm gonna be candid. The town blew my mind when I first played the game. I thought it was going to be some dopey little cul-de-sac with 2 or 3 houses, but no! There's so much life and energy! People are doing their own things, but they maintain a sense of community by having a bulletin board with birthdays and requests right outside Pierre's store. By the way, Pierre is quite possibly the most important person in the game. He sells you numerous seeds, cooking ingredients, backpack upgrades so you can carry more stuff, and he's the father of Abigail. So treat the man with some respect. But sadly, Pierre isn't the only store in town. There's also Jojo Mart run by a man named Moores. And I thought this was a dig at Amazon. They both have their little curved line under their names, specialize in selling goods and being greedy corporations that take poor care of their workers. But after digging around online a bit, I discovered it's way close to the logo of Watch Mojo, a YouTube channel both in design and name. I don't know what beef the developer has with the channel, or why he made them a grocery store in this game, but he basically immortalized them, so they should be thanking him. But I, as a loyal member of Pierre's, would never shop there. Okay, I did it one time. I needed a soda for a quest that I didn't film. Get off my back. Some other town locations include the library/museum/schoolhouse. If you're trying to romance Penny, you might want to check in here daily. She tutors the only 2 children in town because she's just so wonderful. Well, the real star here is Gunther. He just took over as librarian and museum curator after the previous curator absconded with the entire collection of artifacts. And he wants to make the museum decent again, so he offers the player rewards in exchange for donations, which is a pretty good deal because artifacts are useless to the player anyway. Except for gemstones, which are kind of pricey. But still, be a good person to donate. This guy's a librarian. He can mess you up. A few paces north of the library is the blacksmith shop, which is a nice location because Clint, the blacksmith, can break open jewels for you, which often contains stuff to donate to the museum. He can also sell you ore, coal, and most importantly, upgrade your tools. And while he can upgrade all of them except the scythe, the only two that matter are the axe and pickaxe, as they actually allow you to get to normally inaccessible areas. But hey, if you got some extra gold lying around, upgrade everything. They look cooler that way. Only problem is they take your stuff for a few days, so you might want to wait until you got sprinklers before upgrading your water can. Which is kind of funny because if you have sprinklers, you no longer need the watering can. Next up is the fishing shack. Never mind, it's a small little shop on the beach that sells fishing rods, bait, and bobbers. Fishing is a great way to earn money, so if you like materials for bobbers, it's a good spot to visit. There's also Marnie's Ranch. She sells livestock and materials to take care of them. And she's price gouging you because those things are super expensive, so you probably won't even need to worry about them until much later, considering you also need to have Robin build the coop and barn for them. Speaking of Robin, she is also very important. She lives up in the mountain with her husband and 2 children. They're a dysfunctional family, and by they, I really just mean Sebastian, who stays in his room all day working on his computer. I mean, who does that? What are you looking at? But Robin's important, because like I mentioned before, she's a carpenter, so she builds stuff on your farm and makes it look like an actual farm, and not just several crops spread in front of your house with trees as far as the eye can see. She can also upgrade your home to include a kitchen, nursery, and wine cellar, and as I recently learned, she can also build Pam a new house so she no longer has to stay in her trailer. The only other residents of the mountain are Linus and the 2 members of the Adventurers Guild who mostly stay to themselves. Guild Roxanne and Sharon shares personality with it, while Marlin is a bit more fleshed out. He gives the player their starting sword and allows them into the guild after they kill 10 slimes, where you can buy more equipment if you're
looking to protect yourself or deal some damage.
Wait a second. Didn't I shred this thing? The last of the shops is my favorite aesthetically, but the least rewarding for trying to power through the game. The Stardust Saloon is owned and operated by Gus and frequented by many customers. A quick way to farm friendship is to buy patrons food they like and gift it, but that severely eats into profits. But it's totally worth it. For Leia. There are technically a few other merchants, but I can't really write a paragraph on Hat Mouse, Alex's Ice Cream Stand, Dwarf Guy, Cart Girl, Shadow Guy, Wizard's Tower, or Harvey's Clinic. You can look those up yourself. What are the mentioned merchants? Can you guess who the best one is? Go on, take a second and guess. If you guess Josemart, you can just click away now. The best one is Pierre, because he stays open during a lot of Stardew Valley's festivals, and they have a lot of festivals. The first festival they have is Easter. I mean the Egg Festival. As far as the festivals go, this one is pretty shallow. Pierre's there selling some stuff, but the only thing to notice is strawberry seeds. The main attraction is the egg hunt, in which you, a grown adult, competes against 2 children in an egg collection race that lasts under 2 minutes to win the coveted straw hat. And even if you want to throw it to the children, Abigail is merciless and will win unless you collect 9 eggs. And that's all there is to the festival, but it's still much better than the next. The flower dance is by far the most realistic part of the game. I asked every single bachelorette to dance, and they all rejected me. I didn't even know they could do that! Even the beautiful Haley rejected me. But they can turn you down if you don't have 4 hearts of friendship with them, which is hard to do in 1 season. But I really wanted to dance, so I asked all the bachelors too and had similar results. And by similar, I mean nobody in town likes me. The only thing the flower dance did was make me feel like a social pariah that was ugly and unloved, and that moment is when I vowed to get my revenge. After spring closes, summer rolls in with a lull, and the only point of this is to get the governor some good soup, which can either rapidly increase or decrease your friendship with the villagers. Gee, I can think of an event before this where that would have come in handy! You throw an item into the soup, and depending on the quality of said item and the item itself, the governor will only have 1 of 5 reactions. There's also a secret reaction to a certain item, and a reaction if you don't put anything in where you think something is missing. But hey, it's not like it's your responsibility. Literally no one wanted to dance with you. Why should you be obligated to throw your hard-earned produce in that broth? Screw 'em. After the soup tasting, everyone goes home at 10 as per usual. The most useless event is next. Dance with the Moonlight Jellies, which happens on the 20th of summer at 10 and only exists if the developer can flex his artsy side. Despite that, you might as well attend rather than become a hermit. Fall festivals start out with the Stardew Valley Fair on the 16th, and it's the most fleshed out and interactive festival of all of them. It's also the worst. The way it works is you earn star tokens to buy prizes. They're only the same 4 prizes every year, and it decreases to 3 after you get the star drop, the only worthwhile item. The minigames are either tedious or just horrific on the Switch, and the way to get a good amount quick is to win the Grains Display Contest or just buy a ton. It costs 100,000 gold to buy 20,000 tokens. That's 50 gold per token for those of you who aren't mathematically inclined. Admittedly, the Grains Display Contest is kind of fun if you don't know the mechanics behind it, and just do your best. If you do manage to get first, you get 1,000 star tokens, which is a good start. The other fun thing to do is visit the fortune teller, who will tell your fortune based on friendship with the villagers. You can also eat free burgers that do nothing, but it is entertaining. And that's the worst event, but the best one follows. On the 27th, the fall is Spirit's Eve, and while there is a lot less interactivity, people are a lot more fun. You can go through this spooky haunted maze for a golden pumpkin at the end and talk to all the scaredy cats there. You can buy stuff from the best businessman, Pierre. You can even see your old coworker who came to visit you. And that's it, actually. What's way better than the Stardew Valley Fair, which left a sour taste in my mouth. The first winter event is the Festival of Ice, and it takes place on the 8th of winter every year. It's a chance for the whole town to get together, have fun in the snow while having a friendly little fishing competition. And to show up a man whose whole livelihood is catching fish by beating him after only starting to fish last spring. It's fun for all. You only need to catch 5 fish to win. After that, you can just relax and let the other losers try and catch up. But there's no way they can, and you get to walk away with some tackles and a sailor cap that you'll most likely stick in a trunk and never wear. The next one isn't really an event, but it's a 3-day thing where you can get access to a lot of rare items that are only available there. But it's definitely worth it because you can buy candy cane decorations and get free coffee every 10 minutes. You can also ride a submarine and oogle a mermaid. The famous painter Lupini also makes an appearance and sells one of his 9 paintings every night. To get all 9 you have to wait 3 years, but I'm sure the paintings will appreciate in value once he dies, so it's worth investing. As for the submarine ride, there are 3 fish that you can only catch there, so it's worth doing once to fill in your playing slots, then you're good. Really, the whole thing is just a celebration of capitalism, and I'm good with that. The final event is the Feast of the Winter Star. A week beforehand, you receive a letter from Lewis telling you you're assigned to a villager to give a gift to, and whatever you give them will be worth 5 times the normal point value. And if you don't attend, they go without a gift that year. I got Linus, and I gave him my golden pumpkin. He loved it, he was so grateful. Then freaking Emily gives me a freaking Nautilus shell. I can't do anything with that because it's in no recipes, and I'm not gonna sell it because it's a gift. So it just sits in a chest taking up inventory space until the end of time. Thanks for ruining my last festival, Emily. You suck. But enough about that. How's the game outside the festivals that are actually the worst? Well, a few days after you spend a fortune on seeds that you eventually neglect to go into the much more lucrative option of mining instead, Marnie shows up with either a cat or a dog depending on what option you picked in the beginning. And instead of looking for a possible owner, you adopt it and immediately name it, and as a tribute to my fallen child, I'll name them Flower. May he rip in peace. As I mentioned before, mining is another great way to earn money, but there's much more to the game than that. There's also fishing and foraging. And that's it. The point of the game is to make your living off the land by either taking what it gives you or making it yourself, and I love that. You're not allowed to get a part-time job, despite what my mom says. Speaking of, the game includes a depressing bit where you get letters from either your mom or dad, depending on your gender, where they're proud of you, miss you, and guilt trip you that you never visit. I had to hug my mom after I got each letter. I didn't film that though. But my preferred profession is always mining. You can find a lot of neat stuff worth a lot in the mine, and you make double because you fight monsters that drop body parts that the mayor is only too keen to buy off of you. But be careful, you don't want to sell everything, because some things you need for the main quest line. Yes, Stardew Valley does have a storyline, optional as it may be. On or after Spring Day 5, if you walk into town, Mayor Lewis brings you to a now run-down community center which used to be a lively place where people gathered, but it fell into disrepair. While he explains this to you, you spot some magical creatures who leave a scroll for you that you currently cannot read. This prompts one of Stardew Valley's strangest residents to contact you, the Wizard. He helps you understand the language of the creatures he calls Shunimos by having you drink some sort of odd potion. After unlocking this power, more scrolls appear, and you can finally read all of them. They're simply the Junimos asking for things. In return, they fix things in the town in the center itself, and it takes freaking ages. Alternatively, if you're a horrible person, you can buy a JoJo Mart membership for 5,000 gold, which allows JoJo Mart to renovate the town hall into a warehouse, and you can just buy everything the Junimos repair instead. Either way, you must get the bus upgrade to continue the plot as well as reach the bottom of the mines. Now, the bus wrecks the theory that Stardew Valley is purgatory, although that theory has no real merit besides being isolated and no one ever dies, and it takes you to the desert where another mine is, and you receive a letter from the mysterious Mr. Kiwi. But I stopped playing after finishing the community center. When the whole thing is done, all the villagers show up and are so happy, except for Morris, who's upset that all his customers are gone and not shopping. Which is odd because if you ever go into JoJo Mart, the only villager who ever been there is Shane, who is an employee. But either way, Morris and Pierre get into a fight, and after a rousing speech about community, Pierre physically assaults Morris and should get arrested. But that community speech must have really struck a chord, and the entire town commits perjury when the police start asking questions about Pierre. At least that's what I wish I could say happened. Sadly, I chose the let's be reasonable option, and everything ended peacefully. Now you may think I've forgotten, but I never did. It's been a little under a year since I was humiliated at the flower pageant, and the whole time I've been scheming. And now that I'm a community hero, I can finally put my plan into action. You see, I've been seducing the bachelorettes who reject me by giving them gifts, treats, and running their errands, and it finally pays off by me going on meaningful dates with all of them, and them thinking they're the only girl for me. And then I was gonna break all their hearts at once. The only problem is, I actually fell for one of them. So even though I wanted to humiliate them, I let revenge go and embraced love instead. So while polygamy reigned in town for a bit, I eventually settled down with Leia. Now I did like the other girls, and I married Abigail in my first file, but I just really like Leia and kind of resonate with her. So I proposed and she moved into my farmhouse. We're very happy together, and I've never been happy to forget revenge and move on. And that's most of Stardew Valley. Let's check out that playtime. Perfect, I'm only 1 minute off from when my seeds will be done. My seeds are ready! Oh boy, I can't wait to see what kind of produce we got here. You gotta be kidding me.